Hello everyone. In the previous session, we have started with pointer and one more terminology that is pointer to pointer we have seen. Few of the examples we solved for pointer to pointer. In today's session, we will be starting with user defined function. So we will going to cover the points. What is function? What are different categories of the function? Call by value, call by reference, including recursive functions. As far as function is concerned, definition of function, formal definition is function is self-contained block of statement used to perform a specific task. Had we used function before? Yes, we have used the function in strings, that is string.h header file. From that one, we derived strcat, strcmp, strlen function, strstr function. Likewise, we have used sqrt function, pow function, which are belonging to math.h header file. So these are the library functions. But whenever we want to write down our own code for a specific task, then we need to have user-defined functions to be written. What are the advantages of the user-defined function? These are the subprogram are easier to write, understand, and debug. Second one is the function sometimes we require to call within its own body, that is called as recursive function. Many a time, whenever we will be dealing with data structures pre-traversal, that time we will be required to have functions in a recursive fashion. It will reduce the code of the program. The complexity of the program is reduced. Next one is a library function can be designed and tested for the use of every programmer. Last but not the least, an important point over here is code reusability. When we are dividing the complete code into n number of segments, that individual segment is termed as function. That time, this code can be used again and again whenever we will require to use it in any project, any other project program. That's why the code reusability is one of the best feature of user-defined function. As far as functions are concerned, we are dividing the function into two categories. Predefined function, these are nothing but your library function like mat.h header file, string.h header file. We are deriving the function like strlen or sqrt like function from there. These are predefined function, which is the facility provided by the compiler, ready-made functions that we can utilize. Next category is user-defined function. Under user-defined function, we are having two different categories: call by value and call by reference. Here in this call by value, we are sending the value of the variable to the called function. In case of call by reference, we are dealing with address of the memory location. It means that we are dealing with pointer. We already seen the pointer. When we will be solving the program, that time we will see how call by reference works. In case of call by value, we are having five different category: user defined function with no return, no parameter; function with no return but carrying parameter; function with return but carrying no parameter; function with return as well as parameter; and the last one is function with multiple return. So while using this terminology, I have used one more word, that is parameter. So what exactly is parameter or argument? That we will see in the next slide. Parameter or argument is nothing but divided into two different categories: actual parameter, formal parameter. That is, in other word, we can say actual argument or formal argument. Actual parameter are the parameter we are passing the value of these values to the called function. It means that a variable that are passing its value to the called function from the main function are known as actual argument or actual parameter. You can say it as a variable also. Formal argument, the variable declared in the function prototype within the body of the function which is accepting the value of actual argument, that is called as formal argument. Along with that one, we are having one more terminology that is related to local variable and global variable. Any variable which is declared, any parameter which is declared within the body of the function is called as local variable. Any variable which is declared outside the function, which can be accessible throughout the program, that is called as global variable or a parameter. So that's all for this argument and parameter. We will move ahead with categories of the function. As far as call by value is concerned, we are dividing it into five categories. Out of that one, first two categories we will be seeing. While writing any function code, we will require to have three important steps. That is nothing but function prototype, function call, function definition. In any category, we will require to have these three important steps. Out of that one, we will be seeing the first step, that is function prototype. We are giving the information to the compiler that so and so functions somewhere in the program it is lying, it will be used afterwards. Means we are giving prerequisite information to the compiler that name function, that is addition, is existing somewhere in the program. I will use it afterwards. This is function prototype. Rest of the things are common, like this. These header files are common in nature. This main function is common. Second step is function call. Whenever we want to execute the function, we are just calling the function with the name of the function of round brackets, semicolon. From there, the function jump will be done to the function definition. Function definition is nothing but actual code of the function. Here we are having a purpose to perform addition of two numbers and display the result. For that one, we have declared this function addition. This is function prototype. We are calling within the body of the main, and after that function definition is there. And in function definition, normal code is there. We are accepting the values of num1 and num2. We are performing simple addition of that and displaying the result. So what we have seen, function prototype is giving information to the compiler that so and so function is there. I will going to use it afterwards. Then function call is actual calling of the function in the body of main. And third one is function definition, actual code of the function to be written over here. This is the function category number 1 under call by value. This function is not returning any value, not carrying any parameter. That's why it is void. And in round brackets, we have not written any parameter. It is blank. That's why the first category is no return, no parameter. Next category we are having is function is not having any return. It means that in function prototype, we will be using void. And second one is it is carrying some parameter. It means that main function will provide some value to this function. So here we are having function prototype as usual. Important thing, three steps are important over here. You can see function prototype, function call, function definition. Now, if we move ahead, you can see over here I have declared variable. Few variables are there. Number 1, number 2, and result. So we are asking the user to enter the value of number 1 and number 2. Suppose user is entering value over here. Suppose number 1 is equal to 5 and number 2 is equal to 7. These two values are there. So these two values we are passing to the called function addition. It means that this will be holding 5 and this one will be holding 7. So that will be sent to the called function. Here, as soon as this step reaches, we are directly jumping from this step to the called function. Here we are having definition of the called function, void addition, and num1 and num2, these variables are declared over here, which are of float data type. This 5 value will be passed to num1, 7 value will pass to num2. It means that number 1 and number 2, whatever the value they are holding, their value is passed over here to num1 and num2 respectively. Now, by default, num1 and num2 are having the data 5 and 7. So, we are performing addition over here. We can see num1 and num2 addition is performed and summation is to be displayed over here. In first category, we are not having any return, any parameter, but in this case, we are carrying parameter. These are called as actual parameter and these are nothing but your formal parameter. This number 1 value is original value, number 2 is original value. From here, main function we are getting that value and num1, num2 value are being passed which are accepted by num1 and num2. So these are formal parameters. I hope the concept of formal and actual parameter is clear. Now, next category that we will be having is function we are having with return but carrying no parameter. In this category, as usual, you may be knowing three important steps: function prototype, function call, function definition is there. So out of that one, we are not returning any value. Yeah, we are returning, sorry. We are returning the value, but we are not carrying any parameter. Simply we are just calling the function over here. So as soon as this step comes, we are directly jumping to this step. Here we are accepting the value of num1 and num2. We are performing addition. Suppose num1 and num2, we are having 5 and 7. Addition will be 12. That 12 value will be held by this sum value. And this sum is returned to the called function. It means that this result will be storing. This result will be having the value 12. And that 12 value will be displayed over here. This is how this category will work. This is function prototype, function call, function definition. These are the three important points to be kept in mind. Next one is return with parameter. Fourth category of call by value, that is nothing but return as well as parameter. As usual, three important steps: function prototype, function call, and function definition. Here we are accepting the value of number 1 and number 2. Suppose number 1 and number 2 holding the value 5 and 7 respectively. These values are passed to num1 and num2, because here we can see the function call. From here, from this step, we are directly jumping to the function definition. So number 1 and number 2 value will be accepted by num1 and num2. As usual, we are having sum declared. Sum is equal to num1 plus num2. It will be giving result 12, since we have assumed the value of number 1 and number 2 is equal to 5 and 7. This sum value now is returned over here to the result. Means this total code will be replaced with value 12. So result is 12 displayed over here. This is the fourth category of the function under call by value. Now we will see one more category, that is called as call by reference. You can see over here in call by reference, once again function is declared over here, function is called over here, and function definition is here. So three important steps for any user defined function: function prototype, function call, function definition. We are asking the user to enter value. We are accepting these two values, and we are passing the address of f number, first number, and this second number. Suppose we are having first number address 1000, okay, and second number address 2000. Then it will be shared with this n1 and n2. Means n1, I'm writing again f number. Suppose if it is having 1000 address, and second number is having address suppose 2000, then n1 will be holding value 1000 and n2 will be holding address value 2000. It is a pointer concept. And asterisk n1 means value at 1000. Suppose this f number is holding value 5, this s number is holding value 7. It means that asterisk n1 means value at 1000 is what? 5. Value at 2000 is 7. So we are getting that one. So we are performing over here operation that sum is equal to asterisk n1. Asterisk n1 means value at 1000 is 5 plus value at 2000 is 7. Addition is done and this value is returned to sum. Okay. And we are finally displaying over here the result. This is how it will work. It is pretty complicated when we are dealing with pointers. If any query is there, let me know. I will write down, or I will just make a separate video for call by reference. Next point we will see, it's related to recursive function. Any function which is called within its own body is called as recursive function. That you are knowing over here, you can see simply main function, within that one we are calling this recursive function recurse. And in recursive function, when we are jumping over here, this recursive function is called within its own body. So it becomes an infinite loop if there is no care taken to exit recursive function. So as far as recursive function is there, I repeat the definition of recursive function. That is nothing but function which is called within its own body is called as recursive function. There are two different mechanism of calling recursive function: direct recursive mechanism, direct recursive, and indirect recursive. That we'll see it afterwards. Disadvantages of recursive function: more time is required for program execution because of function call and function return overhead. It requires more time for execution. And what are the advantages of recursive function? Recursive function provides clean and simple way to write down a code. And second one is, in many of the cases in data structures, we will require to have this recursive function like tree traversal, tower of Hanai, and many data structure problems we will require to use this recursive function. That is the efficient way. So we will move ahead. That is two different types of recursive functions are there. First one is direct recursive function. In this one, you can see we are having which function? This direct recursive function. We are calling this direct recursive function within its own body. Means that is direct recursive function. But here we are having direct recursive function 1 and direct recursive function 2. Within the body of direct recursive function 2, we are calling direct recursive function 1. And within the body of direct recursive function 1, we are calling direct recursive function 2. You can see over here one function is calling in the body of another function and they are performing iteratively, that is indirect recursive function. I hope that this concept is clear. Thank you so much for watching the video. If any query is there, I will resolve it, and I'm just uploading another video for actual practical implementation and code to be written by using dev C++ for all function categories. Thank you so much.